chord inversions. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to play several different chord inversions on the guitar, but my main goal in this video is that by the end of this video, you'll actually know how to build your own chord inversions no matter where you're at in the guitar neck, no matter what key you're in, no matter what chord you're playing. You can learn basically the formula behind first and second inversion major chords. Hey everyone, my name is Chris Green. I want to welcome you to my channel, Learning Guitar with Chris Green. This channel is dedicated to those of you out there who are absolute beginners on the guitar, or you're looking for some more advanced techniques. Well, this channel is for you. The best thing you can do is hit the like and subscribe buttons. What that does is it lets the YouTube algorithm and robots know that this video is actually really interesting. They've also got this new hype feature that's been rolling out. So if you have an opportunity below any of my videos, if you see a button for hype, just go ahead and press it. I think it helps small channels like me get on some sort of leaderboard. Either way, that stuff is completely free to you. Just hit the like and subscribe buttons. It goes a really long way, and I definitely do appreciate it. I've also got some merch launching below this video. You can see a couple of t-shirts already and a coffee mug to help you learn your sharps and flats as we've been going through music theory. Now, if you haven't seen any of my music theory videos, feel free to check that out in the description below. We'll be covering a lot of things like how to build chords and things like that, and I will make a few references to those videos, so watch those when you have an opportunity. So first and foremost, let's talk about chord inversions. So G major. Most of the stuff I was playing in the intro of this video will be covering some of those chords and why I chose to play what I played. But G major, if you've seen my other video, you know that a G major chord is spelled out with the notes G, B, and D. There's my bad handwriting there. So G, B, and D. Any three assemblage of a G, a B, and a D gives you a G major chord. Now, you don't have to play all 6 strings on the guitar, but anywhere that you can find to build a G major chord, you should go for it. So we have G, which on the B string, this is the 8th fret of the B string. And then we have the 7th fret of the E string. This is where we have a B. So we have G, B. And then if I play the open D string, that is also a G major chord. So anywhere you can find on the guitar to play G, B, and D. Why do we put our fingers right here? Well, that is because if we put our fingers on the 3rd fret of the low E, the 2nd fret of the A string, and then the 3rd frets of the B string and the high E string, what you hear sounding out are the notes G, B, D, G, D, and G. That's why we have our fingers in the places that we do. So you know that this is GBD, and those of you that have your note cards, you're already well ahead of me here. But chord inversions, what we're doing is we are designating a certain note to be the bass note. The lowest note that you are going to hear on the guitar, that is going to let you know what inversion you have of the chord that you're playing. So a root position G major chord is spelled GBD. A first inversion G major chord puts the B, the note B, is going to be in the bass. So instead of reading GBD, we now have BGD. Now when it comes to inversions, it doesn't matter quite as much what you have going on the higher register. So this could read B, D, and G. It would still be a first inversion G major chord. And you've guessed it probably already that if I were to play a second inversion D major chord, I would have D in the bass, and I would have something like D, G, and then B. So I'm going to write a second right here. I'm going to write a first, and then we're going to call this one root. So here at the top, we have root position G major, which is GBD. We have first inversion, which is B in the bass, followed by some sort of order of G and D, or D and G, could be fine. Second inversion is D in the bass with G and B. So what is the big difference between root position, first inversion, and second inversion? Let's go ahead and play it on the guitar because it definitely has a difference. For years and years, as I'm working with musicians, and particularly as I'm leading worship and working with bands and congregational music, I'll work with certain guitar players where they see certain chords like G over B, and they'll ask me how to play a G over B chord. And I can show you how to play G over B. It's one of the simplest ones you can play. If you already know how to play this version of a G major chord, simply remove your middle finger from the low E string and just emphasize the A string. So I don't want to play the low E at all. I want to start with this second fret of the A string because that is where the note B is. So if I'm going to play an inversion, I need to ask myself, where is the bass note? What is the lowest note that you're hearing? It's not the low E string. I don't want to hit that. I want to hit the A string. So here's a G major root position. Here is a G major first inversion. Now, if you can hear this, you may not be able to hear it necessarily to start with, but first inversion chords really want to resolve up. They want to resolve. That B wants to go somewhere. Let me emphasize it here for you, just playing a few measures of root position, and then I'm going to go to first inversion, and you hear what it's doing. Here we go. At the end, I went to a C chord, and when I went to that C chord, you probably had this feeling, if you're like me, whenever I hear a first inversion chord, I'm thinking it really wants to go somewhere. It wants to go up. So here's the thing to note. When you have a first inversion chord, the bass note, which is typically the third of whatever the root position is. So here we have the first, the third, and the fifth, G, B, and D. B is the third in the scale of G major. B is our third. So when we have that third in the bass, that third wants to go up, and it wants to go up a half step to the next chord. So if you're playing a first inversion chord, if that's G over B, just look one fret, literally a half step above where the bass note is, and then spell out your chord from there. So the third fret of the A string, that is the note C. So I know that if a first inversion chord wants to resolve up, I can build a major chord off of that. And there we have that resolution. So again, G major, G over B, C. So that's typical with first inversion. So whenever we're playing a first inversion chord, we want to take the third, which is the second note in the chord here, G, B, D. We want to put that in the bass. You can get away with this. You can get around this factor. Like if you're looking at a chord chart, how many of you guitar players out there, you see E over G sharp? You see that E over G sharp and you're thinking to yourself, I'm probably just going to play a root position E major chord. And I used to fare on the side of, you know what, you can just get away, just play lightly when it comes to the bass notes. If you're playing with a band and you've got a piano player, you got a synthesizer, anything that can cover that G sharp for you is going to help out in playing inversions. So I would just ease up on it. So if you're having to play E over G sharp, I just wouldn't emphasize the low E string very much because it's not going to sound as good as if you play an E over G sharp. So here is a root position E major chord. We have the note E in the bass, and an E major chord is spelled E, G sharp, B. So a little test for you here. If I want to take an E major chord, and I want to put E major in first inversion, what note goes to the bass? Okay, it's not E, and it's not B, it's going to be G sharp. So to get a G sharp in the bass, I would have to take this low E string, and I would have to go up to the 4th fret, which if you're like me, I'm not going to be using my pinky up here on the 4th fret of the low E. It's a little too much of a stretch. So what I'll do is I'll put my ring finger on the 4th fret of the low E string, and then I use my pointer finger to bar the 2nd frets of the A string and the D string. That gives me the notes B and E. And then I've got my pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. That gives me the note B. And then I've got the open B string and the open E string. So here is my E over G sharp. So that G sharp, what does it want to go to? It wants to go up. So in first inversions, whenever you're playing a first inversion chord, whether that is E over G sharp, G over B, A over C sharp, that C sharp on A over C sharp, it wants to go to D. Okay, so first inversion chords, the bass note, if it is the third in a major chord in a major key, it wants to go up. But what about second inversion chords? You don't typically see a whole lot of them when it comes to guitar playing, but typically you'll see the chords G over D. A G over D chord is a second inversion G major chord. And you'll also see one in the key of C quite a bit. It is a C over G. So root position C major chord, you're gonna be playing something like this. And you're probably instructed to not hit the low E string. If you hit the low E string when you're playing a C major root position chord, you are actually going to be playing a first inversion. That is because C major is spelled C-E-G. First inversion is actually spelled E-C-G. So if we put this E note in the bass, it sounds something like this. And it wants to go to F, okay? So typically we don't play that when we're having a C over E. To me, it sounds pretty muddy. So if you're on the acoustic guitar and you're asked to play a C over E, I would probably just skip out on the low E string and the A string. I would just emphasize the second fret of the D string. That gives you your C over E, your first inversion C chord. But a C over G is going to be a second inversion C major chord, and it sounds like this. C over G, quite possibly my favorite second inversion chord. Now, second inversion chords, to me, and you may be different, but to me, a second inversion chord, it wants to resolve to whatever the bass note is. So in C major, a second inversion C major chord has G in the bass, and what it wants to go to is a G chord. So we have C over G, and then I'm going to play a G major root position. So here's C major root position. So there's all this leading happening. Now, personal opinion, first inversion chords tend to sound like they want to go somewhere. They seem to have a little bit more of a propel to them. Earlier in the intro, I was playing a D over F sharp chord. D over F sharp is really common, especially if you're in the key of G. Now, D over F sharp, it can resolve up to the note G, or you can use it as a transition chord going to something like E minor. So the big benefit of these inverted chords is that they're very useful when it comes to transitions. So first and foremost, if you're in a certain key like G major, and you want to go to a D over F sharp chord, D over F sharp can be used to resolve to G or to E minor. You also have a G over B, which is a first inversion G major chord that wants to go to C. So when it comes to inversions, the more you learn your inversions, the more you'll be able to manipulate the songs that you're playing. You'll be able to throw in these transitions that really sound a lot more melodic than just simply strumming through root position chords. So in your own playing, if you're in the key of G major, you for sure should be working on the chords G over B and possibly the chord G over D, which would be second inversion. You can not only do this with major chords, but you can do it with every single chord out there. No matter what the chord is, if you know what its root position structure is, you can then manipulate it to put different notes in the bass. The main thing is, what is the bass note? Because the bass note is going to determine the rest of the chord's structure. Find out where the bass note is being played. So for instance, if it is an F over A or a first inversion F chord, don't just skip over. Don't just play root position F major. Find where the note A is. So for instance, the open A string, and then build an F major chord below it. So you have F, A, C, and then another F on the first fret of the high E string. And then you just hit that open A string. And there you have your first inversion F major chord. It really helps when it comes to song structures. When you see a chord chart and there are inversions written in, they're definitely written there for a purpose. So locate where your bass note is first, and when you have your bass note picked out, you can then build your triad off of that. Now, if all of this is super complicated, again, I want to mention checking out the music theory videos that I have linked below. But as we're moving forward, we're going to be taking this and building on it as we go. So hopefully you know your major triads by now, because in the next video, we're going to be dealing with minor chords. How do we go from major to minor? How do we alter these chords so that one day you're looking at the guitar, you're looking at the fretboard, and you're really just looking at how you're going to assemble these individual notes into groups and so forth. My name is Chris Green. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you on the next lesson. All right, bye.